Hey guys, what's up? lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the brand new 2019 drama crime thriller film, Joker, written and directed by Todd Phillips, starring Francis Conroy, Robert De Niro, Joaquin Phoenix as Joker himself. Now, what's very interesting about this Arthur Fleck character is it is obviously based off of the DC comics. You have Joker, he's in Gotham. You know, you have the Wayne family. Thomas Wayne is a prevalent character. Bruce Wayne's in it for a bit. And it's cool because it's its own Joker film and it's its own universe. It has nothing to do with the cinematic DC universe. It has nothing to do with the Tim Burton Batman movies. It has nothing to do with, you know, the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. This is its own Todd Phillips Joker movie. It has this grit of late 70s to it, early 80s, pretty much late 70s. And it's really neat, because there's no specific time kind of a thing, unless there is in the newspapers that he's reading a bunch of times, and I just didn't catch it. It's 2 hours long. It was terrifying because it fully portrayed the character development of the character of Joker becoming Joker. So Joaquin laughs uncontrollably. Joaquin's character laughs uncontrollably. And, you know, he thinks he can't help it, but that's just who he is. And it turns out his mother, Francis Conroy, who we love from American Horror Story, right? She claims that Thomas Wayne is his father, and she worked for the Wayne family for quite some time. So then Arthur goes to visit Thomas, but he meets Bruce at the gate kind of a thing. And then Alfred... It's not mentioned it's Alfred, but you just know it's Alfred taking care of Bruce. Tells him to go away. They have a little fight. And then Arthur winds up tracking Thomas down to like some show, some Charlie Chaplin show. Confronts him, and then Thomas says, you know, your mother was crazy. She was in Arkham Asylum. You know, she had this delusion that I'm your father, but she adopted you. So then Arthur goes to Arkham, steals his mother's records from 30-something years ago, and it turns out Thomas was correct, that Arthur was adopted. He was abused excessively by the mother's boyfriend for quite some time, and the Arthur that we have now, the one who thinks negative thoughts constantly and just laughs uncontrollably without actually being provoked, and he's trying to become a comedian, and he has all these delusions in his head of dating this particular neighbor of his. It turns out it's not even true. It's all the product of what happened to him as a kid. So you have all of this malnourishment and abuse and psychological damage going into this mental illness of this individual. And it is fully portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix. And we've always seen the Joker, you know, whether it's Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson or Jared Leto, or anybody else who's played the Joker over the decades. It's always been the Joker. It's never been the origin of the Joker. So for this to come about as its own, based off DC Comics, it was very interesting. I'm more of a Marvel buff, just on characters. Spider-Man has the greatest villains of any comic ever written, in my opinion. But the Joker is always such a unique and interesting individual. He's always been portrayed very uniquely. So it's really cool seeing this true origin story of a man who finally hit the limit. The limit was pushed far too much, of people not paying attention to him, of just people constantly putting him down. He needed to find where he belonged, and he figured out by just being himself, this is where he belonged. But it's weird. It's interesting saying this, not weird, because he's a villain by default because he goes around and murders people, right? So you're not supposed to root for the villain, technically. But he says this little speech when he's on Robert De Niro's show about how, you know, society tells you what's funny and society tells you what to be mad at, right? But it's all about perspective. And it's interesting because you're like, you know, he's got a point. He's right. Go Joker. And then he goes on killing people. And you're like, but it's about perspective. So how are you accepting a serial killer's origin story without feeling guilty? Because you're made to feel guilty? Because that's what society tells you to do? It's just very interesting. Obviously, there's no advocating of going around murdering people, but there is a whole resistance riot on numerous occasions throughout the film about an uprising that the rich have done absolutely nothing, and just keep taking and taking and taking from the poor, and no one cares, and things have to change. And we are seeing that in our political climate. Obviously, it's been around since the dawn of time, but it has hit a precipice. We are definitely in an alternate universe, that's for sure, based off of the timeline that we were currently on. But it's interesting. A lot of critics did not like this film. They praised Joaquin's acting abilities, and no one can touch him when it comes to that type of acting, that true mental illness portrayal. Beautiful. I know I can do that. I can do that on the screen. I need my chance. But it's never been done before. Heath Ledger's Joker is vastly different than Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Jared Leto's Joker is vastly different than everybody else's Joker. Each Joker's unique and beautiful in his own way, but it's not the same Joker. They're all different for different reasons. And Joaquin's Joker I really, really loved because he's not trying to start a movement. He's not trying to be anyone but himself. He just wants to be him. And at the end of the movie, when he's standing up on the police car as Gotham's burning around him and all of his fans wearing, clown masks are there, they're giving him applause. And you want to applaud him too. Like, congratulations. You finally found where you belong. But again, it's like, you're murdering people. Shouldn't I feel bad about this? But I don't feel bad about this because you're actually happy and you finally survived all your abuse, but you're killing people while doing it. It's an enigma. It's a true enigma. This is a 2-hour movie of prologue because whatever the sequel is will be the Joker in full throttle. The Todd Phillips Joker in full throttle. Amazing. I was terrified throughout the whole thing watching this character development come through. I'm all about the story. This story was terrifying, and I loved every minute of it. Every minute of it. Beautiful. Thank you all. Have you seen The Joker? Have you seen the brand new 2019 Todd Phillips 2 hours and 2 minutes long Joker? No post-credit scenes. Starring Joaquin Phoenix. Terrible. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Mahalo, guys.